Thank you.
And do you hear me, Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, you can choose screen zoom when you during the presentation. When you will come on the stage, there are 3 screens.
So we can activate all 3.
And you can zoom on any screen so that you can follow easily the presentations. I think, Virginia, you have your phone near your computer, no? There's a strange noise.
Yes, strange noise because I feel like all of
It's okay now. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day too.
See you later, Virginia.
Thank you, Yuba.
See you.
Thank you, Anita. Здравствуйте, Мирослава.
Do you see me? Lottery.
Hello, Marie-Jo. Hello, Marie-Jo.
Hi, Axel. I didn't see you, but
Hi, the genius.
hello, Axel. Hello. Good to
How are
see
you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Trying to look for you, but I don't see you. So
Yeah, I'm sitting.
okay.
Hi, Virginius. Hi, Axel.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Virginius. Hello,
Hello.
Virginius. You're in front of me.
Yes. I just said hello to you in the private chat. Good to see you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Ah,
Only VIP today.
Hello, Lydia.
Hello, Marcial.
Hello, Anita. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sitting with you. Somewhere.
Martial, comment ça va?
Ça va bien. It's very funny. So it's a special experience.
Oui.
Hello, Marshall.
Hello, hello. How are you, my friend?
Good, good. Looking forward.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Who are you? Who are you?
Hello, genius.
Hello, Maria. Hi. Hi.
Hello, Ina.
Hi. You fine? Fine?
Estou perdida.
Também eu.
Não é fácil.
Não.
Hello, Cecile.
Hi, Luma.
Good morning, friends and your avatars. We are glad to welcome you to our event. The Universal team is delighted to be here with you. Little by little, we will be presenting the program of the Eduniversal 3D World Convention, and we'll enjoy interesting insights from the experts in higher education and business representatives. This year's event is focused on the topic soft skills or the hard skills of tomorrow, reimagining the future of business schools. We are honored to have with us our International Scientific Committee members who are sitting right in front. Let's welcome them. As you may know, to applause it's F4. Thank you. During these 4 days, you will meet around 250 leaders of the business schools and companies from 35 countries. This year is very different from others, and we need to adapt to the new reality and challenges that we are all facing. We hope that you will be satisfied and will have efficient experience with these very original solutions that we have prepared together in cooperation with Laval Virtual. To officially open this convention, we are glad to start our event with the speech of Martial Guiette, CEO of Eduniversal. When the video message will start, please click on no thanks for YouTube, and I agree for the video, for you to be able to see the video. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, faithful for so long to the Eduniversal Convention, a true globe-trotting event for 12 years now. In 2020, we should have all met in Lisbon at Nova School of Business and Economics. Unfortunately, political and health current events have not allowed us to hold this 13th Eduniversal Convention physically. Wishing to bounce back usefully and to transform a constraint into an opportunity, we take great joy to open the first Eduniversal 3D World Convention. In this virtual Eduniversal environment, you will be represented in a playful and friendly way by your avatar. Nevertheless, you will be able to exchange more easily, freely, and discreetly with your future partners. We sincerely trust that your connections will be more direct, efficient, and that the concrete outcome will be more systematic. We believe that this convention is an opportunity for all higher education professionals to present the experience of what their virtual university campus could be in the future and the students' life that they can build there. So, even if this year we will not have the opportunity to enjoy the delicious dinners, dancing, cultural visits, and exceptional experiences together as we do every year, we will nevertheless share this new experience from a distance, the world that adapts to all unexpected and challenging times. I declare the first Universal Digital Convention open.
I suppose you all have time to see the welcome message from Martial Guiette. And now it's time. We are very honored to hear the speech of Daniel Traça, Dean of Nova SBA, our official partner of this year's convention.
Hello, everyone. Eduniversal, with the support of its International Scientific Committee, has brought together the excellence of top business schools from 154 countries, launching the first ranking of best business schools worldwide in 2008. Nova SBE is proud to be among the 100 top business schools with 5 Palms of Excellence. We are the only one in Portugal to date. we were looking forward to hosting the 13th edition of the Eduniversal World Convention in our beautiful country in our sunny new campus in Carcavelos in November. However, the last few months and the pandemic among us have been a challenge to all. They have shown the importance of being flexible and resilient and reinventing ourselves. The Eduniversal World Convention has had to do all this. And it is now ready to unfold in a very special format. We are very proud to be the first 3D institution. We are, of course, sad not to be able to welcome you physically this year. But I am certain it will provide a great opportunity for learning and networking that previous conferences have done. Together, we will discuss how we can work and reimagine the future of business education to get ready for the next normal. In times where the world is changing so fast, business schools must change the way they operate and the impact they create. Openness, interdisciplinarity, impact, the integration of distance and presential learning, future-proof skills, these are all part of the changes we must bring in. They all converge into the most dramatic challenge of all, a re-examination of what is our social responsibility, what is our purpose in this changing world. The strength of our sector has always come from our ability to share our experience, our feelings, share the feedback of our students, to find ideas together, to test new solutions and creative ideas. So I hope we can take advantage of this convention to reinforce our desire to learn from each other and to really have the ideas that contribute to a better world. Thank you very much, and see you very soon.
Thank you, Daniel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Professor Rita Cunha, Deputy Dean of Nova SBE, who will make the introduction of the day and will unpack the word skills. Thank you, Rita Cunha, for your speech.
Bear with me just a minute. It's downloading. Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning to all participants. I am really honored to participate in this meeting of Eduniversal, and we are all meeting virtually in this extraordinary auditorium. It's a very interesting experience that does justice to Eduniversal's innovativeness and adaptability. So thank you so much for this invitation. Even before the current crisis, changing technologies and new ways of working were disrupting jobs and the skills employees need to do them. People across industries must figure out how they can adapt to rapidly changing conditions, and companies have to learn how to match those workers to new roles and activities. So in this scenario, what is our role as business schools? So I'm moving to this. Oh, it's not there. No, sorry. There's a problem here. One more second. Should be closed. Okay. So what is our role? And as Churchill said once, we should never waste a good crisis. So let us unpack the word skills. And I went to the dictionary, and in the dictionary, according to Cambridge dictionary, skill is an ability to do an activity or job well, especially because you have practiced it. So we are talking here about employability skills when we look at this definition. And this refers to the graduate's attributes or the capabilities that our students develop at the university that go beyond technical and academic content and increase the chances of acquiring and maintaining different types of employment. But when we look at the word practiced, it implies that more active approaches to teaching and learning are most appropriate, such as problem-based learning and work-based learning. So we need to go and look to this unpacking of the word skills from different lenses. And I'm using here four. One, the changes in the current environment for business and what organizations nowadays demand in terms of these attributes. Secondly, the changes in the learning landscape. Thirdly, the changes in the attitudes and motivations of our current and future students. And fourthly, the changes in teaching pedagogies to better develop these employment or employability skills. My 10 minutes do not allow me to go very deep in this analysis, but I also believe that this will be the focus of these two sessions that follow by Sharif Kamel and by Konstantin Krotov and Alash Hashim. So moving to the first lens, changes in the current environment for business and what skills are demanded. Of course, being a cliche, we know that change and uncertainty were already associated with the technological development, the accelerating globalization, the sustainability requirements, and the demographic changes, namely aging of the population in certain regions. You just have to look at me. The COVID-19 pandemic reinforced this uncertainty and adaptation requirements and did it in a lightning speed. So we need to consider as schools of management what are both the hard and human skills. I prefer the term human to soft, the human skills that our students need to develop. In terms of hard skills, I'm considering the academic contents that our professors in their respective specific areas of research are prepared to teach, which include math, economics, marketing, finance, HRM, but also we cannot forget nowadays that the technological development made it very clear that data science, analytics, programming, digitalization must be part of these hard skills. As to the human skills, these are the ones that will differentiate our graduates because they need to be prepared for change and adaptation, as Danielle was saying. Critical thinking, project management are needed in an atmosphere of increased autonomy brought on by remote work. Problem solving, creativity, and innovation are required to take on the challenges of a rapidly changing environment and business model. Advanced interpersonal skills like communication and teamwork are needed to ensure that professional ties are kept strong despite distance, as well as self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-reliance to be used in new experiences as a source of learning. Time management and mental wellness are required to reinforce resilience. So this is just a summary in terms of this distinction between hard and soft or human. Moving to the second one, the changes in the learning landscape. The nature of employability skills is such that more active approaches to teaching and learning are the most appropriate ones, such as problem-based learning and work-based learning. In this digital era, technology-enhanced learning and information and communications technology have extended learning from formal to informal learning situations, not only for a traditional classroom environment, but also for an online learning environment, and opened much larger opportunities for business schools to have an impact in the development of the future and current workforce. Teaching pedagogies and active learning strategies should be applied to help students develop and transfer skills gradually when designing learning activities. Therefore, there is a need for educators to create a learning environment that links formal and informal learning and allows students to learn and work from within meaningful networks and to reflect upon how their personal, social, and working lives are interrelated. Third, the changes in the attitudes and motivations of our current and future students. Considering mainly pre-experienced students, and I'm thinking about bachelor's and master's students, participation in further levels of education is sought because they perceived their perceived value in providing access to employment. It's the so-called instrumental credentialism. But they also understand that as the numbers of graduates exponentially increase around the world, other variables are important, such as the profile of their institution, and thank you, Eduniversal, for this role, and in some cases, some extra human capital of postgraduate credentials or some volunteer actions and so on. And all of these were seen as potential means of achieving a positional advantage in the labor market. This should also be considered by business schools, in my opinion, in a framework of lifelong learning. Fourth, the teaching pedagogies to better develop these employability skills. Opportunities for students to develop these employability skills should not be developed by faculty acting in isolation, believing that the benefits of participation will be self-evident to students. Thus, instructors and instructional designers should provide opportunities for developing skills in active learning tasks, such as through gamification, simulations, group projects, using virtual reality and other technological enhancements, as well as collaboration with companies and with different schools across the globe. Again, thank you, Eduniversal, for this. Finally, and to conclude, I must come back to our mission as educators and leaders of schools of management. It is our obligation to build the opportunities for our students to understand the interdependence of economic, social, and environmental spheres, and the global challenges that need to be tackled to prevent future crises and natural disasters such as climate change, biodiversity loss, and growing social and economic inequality, so that we as higher education institutions may have a real impact in the creation of a better world. I'm sure this Eduniversal Convention is an excellent forum for this type of reflection. I know that this is part of the program, and I wish all participants a fruitful opportunity to discuss these important issues and to deepen the relationships among different schools. Thank you, and enjoy this wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. Now we are going to see a special video, but before that, I would like you to give a big applause for one person. Today is his birthday, and this person is one of our members of our scientific committee. So please give a big applause for the birthday of Axel Schumacher. Happy birthday, Axel.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Axel. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Axel. Now we are happy to present you a video that was prepared by the students of Nova School of Business and Economics. And it's quite interesting video you will enjoy, we hope. And this video
In our life, we can be sure times like these were never seen. How will we survive at Nova while we face COVID-19? Who knows how it will be? Who knows when it will end? If you fear uncertainty, listen to this story, my friend. You'll get to know folks by their eyes. It used to be their face instead. What she's saying must be lovely. But did you get what she just said? If in the middle of the class the need to gossip attacks, worry not. Students will find brand new ultimate life hacks. And I bet there is one guy always thinking that he's sick. Tons of alcohol and masks saying, not germophobic. While on-campus classes end, there are still students' affairs, and suddenly our lives will be turned into squares. They call them synchronous classes when you see the professor's room. Wake 2 minutes before classes and wear the best costume. You wonder where your mates are at that very same time. Cooking, tanning, in the shower, or both sleeping and online. Some are always up to date, organizing everything. But when classes become shows, we have fans of binge watching.
Indeed, this seems like a fairy tale, but you feel that's something the future won't be. You're supposed to keep your balance when you don't know your NPV. You don't see yourself as being an employer of so many measures. How long are 2 meters? What is to meet someone with social distance? Playing sports without assistance? How will classes be with all the family around? That neighbor sound in a new town. So many doubts, so many virtual meetings. One on Skype, another on Zoom. Oh, I thought this was on Teams. How am I supposed to hang out when I should try to stay in? Am I going to fit in? Is my mic on? Oh, the net is gone.
Hey, this year will be special, but you are more than ready. Remember that clear horizon and think, this is for you. Anytime you're feeling blue, count on Nova SU. In the end, there is one thing that we all should bear in mind. We're all in this together, and no one will be left behind.
So we hope you have enjoyed this video from the students. And now we are very honored to have here our keynote speaker, Dr. Sherif Kamel, member of Scientific Committee of Eduniversal, Dean, School of Business at American University in Cairo. He's member of Scientific Committee for Africa. He will share his vision on the topic, the future of work reimagined, more questions, fewer answers, and some projections. Thank you so much for sharing this information and ideas and a lot of insights. Sherif, welcome.
All right, I'm getting myself prepared here. I hope you can all see me now and hear me well. Merci beaucoup, Cécile. Thank you very much. I also want to start by thanking my good friends Daniel and Rita. We would have loved to be on campus at Nova, but we're doing all this because of the health and safety of everyone. But I urge everybody attending today to not to miss the opportunity, if you can, to visit the camp. It's a fantastic campus, and I had the privilege last year to visit. I also want to start by thanking Martial, Marie-Jo, Cécile, Luba, and everybody for putting together a different experience in our conference today. We've all been attending conferences online over the past several months, but this 3D experience, maybe it's challenging, but I think don't get surprised, maybe that's the future. And this is exactly what I'm talking to you today in our 13th World Eduniversal World Convention. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our conference this year. First, I would like to wish you all, your family, your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, to stay well and in good health. These are very unusual times. We usually meet this time of the year with friends to exchange ideas and plans and strategies and challenges and opportunities. But this time, actually meeting differently, and we're talking about a different world. We're talking about the future. This specific session, I'll be talking to you about the future reimagined. And just before we start, I do not have a crystal ball, and I do not have answers to all the questions. In fact, I'll probably leave you with more questions than answers, but I'm just going to highlight a few things that I would love to share with you. But let me first step back for a couple of minutes and see where we are where we used to be and possibly imagine where we're heading. So to start with, we've always talked about disruption. But when we talked about disruption, we talked about information and communication technology, more recently about artificial intelligence, robotics, analytics, digital transformation, obviously the fourth industrial revolution. And then we started talking a few years ago about the future of work, the future of learning, the impact of innovation, competitiveness. And gradually, we've seen the impact happening on manufacturing, agriculture, trade, care, education, on learning, retailing. What did this do? It actually changed the way we work, study, shop, communicate, get entertained. There's so many examples that you all know about this. But the notion I'm alluding to is we didn't start that post-COVID or when COVID hit. We actually started the digital disruption and transformation years ago. All what happened in 2020, it just got accelerated. It went up several notches. So come late 2019, disruption came in a different shape and form. We know it as COVID-19. It was like a perfect storm, self-attack, an invisible enemy. Nobody knew anything about it. And whatever we did was actually, we were doing it as we were sort of getting affected by it on the go. So there were no practices. We learned from each other. That COVID-19 or that disruption affected everybody. Developing world, no discrimination, affected the lives and livelihoods of people, businesses, communities, organizations, too. But it also affected the lives and livelihood of different societies. Push people to change. Let's just agree on one thing. We all talk about change. Push for change. We promote change. We encourage change. No one wants to change. Nobody wants to change. This time, we had to change because we didn't have a choice in many ways. We were locked down. Many people locked down at home or limited maneuvering or space to maneuver into, and we had to revert to technology. But this happened long time ago. Technology started affecting economies, financial markets, value chains, societies a long time ago. Ironically, in 2019 and 2020, digital transformation came to save the day, in a way. So what will happen next? And here is a series of questions. As I said, I don't have all the answers. What will happen next? Will digital transformation be a game changer? How will it affect societies, individuals, organizations, competitiveness? So people are talking of working from home, working from work. How many of you years ago started working remotely, on weekend, in a garden, in a coffee shop? Well, that's exactly it. But it got accelerated. So we're not really in new grounds here. We're just accelerating and moving forward with the fact there is no fiction anymore. But let me say one thing. There's nothing, absolutely nothing is being hit with the pandemic. Having said that, there is always a way to look at this as an opportune moment to create different options for the community, for business schools, for society, to try to not just navigate those difficult times, but also develop, grow, and prosper beyond the current pandemic we're going through. So are people adapting to change? Whether they like it or not, they are, across different societies in the world. And the magic word here is acceleration. Let me tell you one thing. My background is actually technology management. And I have to confess, we as technology people, whether managing directors, CIOs, CTOs, whatever you want to call it, we failed big time. Because no matter how we tried over the last 30, 40 years to push for digital transformation, we actually only scratched the surface. COVID-19 came, and in 2-3 weeks, maybe 2 months, changed all that. So COVID-19 means, as opposed to CIOs and CTOs of the world, it helped accelerate the digitalization. And can keep an eye on what's happening, what can happen next, and we can project that technology is here to stay. Whether it's sustainable, whether it's going to be scalable or not, that's a different story. It depends on the infrastructure and on the infrastructure. So one thing we need to keep an eye on is investing in human capital. That's going to be the game changer. But let's agree on one thing. those who are going to remain in the competition, evolve, grow, and prosper, regardless of the industry, are those who are going to be resilient, agile, and relevant. Legacies are extremely important. But we're dealing with a different time now. And don't get me wrong, people always talk about the new norm, what's going to happen, and so on. I assure you, in our lifetimes, we're not going to fly, that's for sure. But we are going to be doing things different. And I want to take you back 25 years ago. I was in a meeting in Cairo with the then CEO and founder of one of the largest IT corporations in the world, Sun Microsystem. The name is Scott McNeely. So we were in a meeting discussing strategy, organizational development, use of IT, and so on. Even back then, January 1995, he said he stopped the fact that executives travel all the time to meet with their counterparts, and they use teleconferencing. Even back then, it saved the company millions of dollars. That's exactly what we're seeing today. That's exactly what I expect in the future, post-COVID, which hopefully is going to come sooner or later, especially with the announcement yesterday of Pfizer that they might have a solution. Hopefully, this is a good positive signal, but more importantly, that solution should be accessible, affordable by everybody in the world. When we do that, then we can think really beyond COVID-19. So this notion started 25 years ago, looking for how to maximize the use of digitization. So these were early signs. And since then, we started seeing the introduction of technology into our lives. Started at work, and then it became home. And once it became home, then the extended working hours were no limit, depending on the person. So we were actually working from home while in the morning being in the office. We were working on weekends. Prior to having a computer at home, this never happened. Obviously, this got massive acceleration with the age of mobility in the 90s. So we started talking about the inter-network enterprise, because you never leave the office. You're always one call away, or one WhatsApp away, or one message away, or one email away. That's exactly what we're going through today. But again, magic word is acceleration. Will we take it to the next level? We already took it to the next level about 10 years ago. With what? With social media. Look at social media platform. Is it just about posting pictures? Many companies are using it in their work. Even Instagram, people put ads about their work. Even LinkedIn, which is perceived as a sort of a job employment opportunity platform, people use it in their work. Even Twitter, which is more or less seen as a news channel, but again, people use it at work. So the regular communication and everything, for sharing news, for even establishing contacts, for establishing partnerships, definitely, as I said, but surely we move from a point where the society is officially being predominantly based on information pull platform to a continuously interconnected world that was transformed into an infrastructure that is based on information push platform. And it's up to us to pick and choose what works for us. What are we doing today? A 24/7 interconnected environment. I promise you, I live in Cairo, so I'm 7 hours away from the East Coast in the US, 10 hours away from the West Coast, and 6 hours from Asia, and 1 hour as opposed to the central time in Europe. Sometimes I send emails at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't ask me why I do that. But the funny thing, I get a response in 2 minutes. Why are people awake? Why am I awake at that time in the morning? But that's the world we live in today. And then we take another breakthrough, WhatsApp, which is, by the way, becoming the platform of many people as opposed to email. This is exactly how work is being conducted today. Some people are meeting over digital platform, whether via text or visual and audio, and we've had that before. One thing I have to confess, and again, this is like, seems like 3 centuries ago, not 23 years ago, 1997, I have to admit and confess, I almost kicked out one of my staff. You know why? Because he was using ICQ to communicate with his colleagues. He used to listen. to his tapping into the keyboard, and I thought he was distracting his colleagues. So ICQ is basically WhatsApp of today, which is becoming a platform to conduct work. That's the future of work as we move forward. Not even that, even physically, we will not be around. We will be communicating from distance. Eduniversal introduced to us this year's 3D conference with avatars. Well, we might find it odd, but maybe that's how people are going to conduct meetings in the future. I don't have an answer, but I'm just sharing with you how fast the world is changing into, at the end of the day, looking at different modes of communication. Truly ironic that colleague of mine was almost on his way out because he's using ICQ. Today, I can't even think of such an idea. So the disruption started back in the 1990s. Moving into other element of future of work, people talk about social distancing, and I hate to use that term. I have to confess again. We've never been more social than the past 10 months. I rather use the term physical distancing. And we are physically distant from each other. But even I think people, even post-COVID, are going to be reluctant to just go back to normal immediately. The health and safety will be on their minds, regardless if you have a vaccine or not. Even 1 year after vaccine, it's going to take time for people to not to heal, but to go back to the operating models. So some of the things we can look at moving forward is adopting digital transformation, reconfiguring the world model, reconfiguring the value chain of that work model, redesigning the office. Will people be crammed as before? Do we need all that office space? Maybe we need to have co-working space or have shifts so we don't go back to the office all the time. Not because of anything, not just health reasons, but because we've now witnessed the fact that we can operate from home. I can promise you, some of the research are actually telling us that some people are even ready to have pay cuts if they don't go to the office and continue working from home. Well, that might sound odd, but that's exactly what the world is thinking. So reimagining the work environment is definitely amongst the key elements we need to be thinking of. One thing for sure is that it will be more customized, it will be more personalized. And again, we've seen that over the past few years, but it's going to be accelerated more. Surely, across different organizations, people, societies, industry sectors, there is no one size that fits all. There will always be adaptation, and that's again another keyword. So customization is a keyword, acceleration is a keyword, being relevant is a keyword, and adaptation is definitely another keyword. So more questions. How will the future of work look like? Not just in terms of conducting the work, but how the office will look like. Will the office at large be obsolete? I personally don't think so. Not in the next 10, 20 years. So what will be the degree and magnitude of change, depending on the organization, the size of the organization, and the ability of the people to navigate the changes that are taking place, and the ability of people to collaborate, again, from distance. Future of work, if someone asks me, how will it look like? I have one simple answer. Depends what we want to make out of it. How far are we willing to go? How will that affect the functioning of an organization or of a society at large? So the business model is going to vary, and surely tech and tech-enabled startups and creative entrepreneurs will have a lot to say. And again, is this the first time we hear about this? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to repeat the full example that we all know, but look at the examples of Uber, Facebook, Alibaba, and Airbnb. All of them, they don't own material, they don't operate cars, they don't operate hotels, but they're functioning much faster and much bigger than many other conventionally operating organizations. Professional jobs, scaling to definitely affect how organizations operate. The notions of being digitally savvy is definitely goes without saying moving forward. It's not just a requirement, it's actually intrinsic in the capacities of people joining any organization. So are we going to reach a model like in 6 months or 1 year? Absolutely not. This is going to be an evolving, iterative, and flexible model going to saturate over the next few years. I think we're going to end up with a hybrid model, a mix of face-to-face and virtual interaction with no clear boundaries, but more or less flexible, creating an environment that is adapted to the capacity that the organization needs, which will again change from one time to the other. Will everybody be happy? I don't think so. Will everybody be upset? I still don't think so, because it's a new territory and exploring it as we go. Before I finalize this, I just want to share a few final remarks. Whether we work from home or whether we work from the office, our eye needs to be on the health and safety of everybody, how to be more efficient, how to be more effective. Again, there will be variations between different industries, because you can imagine that some industries will have to be in the office. Some services will have to be conducted face-to-face. But again, as we said, it's not one size that fits all. Will there be some issues that people will be concerned about? Absolutely. Multiple risk and control concerns related to data protection, cybersecurity, privacy. All these issues are key, because data will be crucial in how you develop the model, because how people react to different things differ from one person to the other. On a more funnier or lighter things, and we've seen that happening, and I'm sure all of you went through this, how would the work attire look like? Do you have to wear a tie? Actually, I used to wear a tie every day. I haven't worn a tie since March 11th. What will the business attire look like? Casual? Business casual? Business suit? What? We don't know. Will companies be flexible? I think so. You can't really force something like this. But at work, some work actually used to force people to be casual or formal. But remotely, I don't think this will sustain. So the spectrum of the change is from the hardcore content all the way to the business attire and anything in between. So the coming month will see the proliferation of innovative products and services to help you work from home, remotely, communicate remotely as we move forward. I'm sure all of us are sick and tired from Teams and Zoom and GoToMeeting and Google Meet and WebEx and Adobe Connect and Skype and so on and so forth. Get ready. This is going to be part and parcel of your daily routine, amongst other things that are going to come up. And by the way, we know these applications now. Don't be surprised that in a few months, more and better and multitasking applications are going to come into the mix. Keeping an eye on productivity, efficiency, convenience, resilience, and of course, cost. Organization will always look at cost. How can we as business school react to that? How can we look at the way we train and educate our students and learners to be ready when they graduate to meet in that environment will be our challenge. To actually not just navigate those difficult times, but also develop, compete, and evolve post whatever we're going through. Are we going to be replaced by robots? If this is a question, I don't think so. But we need people who are better positioned and skilled to deal with robots, to deal with technology. I want to go back for the third time, just to show you, to emphasize the fact that this did not start today. Back in 1998, and specifically I choose old examples. I was sitting in the Internet Summit in Geneva, and the speaker was one of the founding fathers of the Internet, Vint and Cerf. So actually Vint said, you guys are interested and excited that 2-3 million people are using the Internet. Wait until 50 or more billion machines are going to talk to each other. Next step is going to be the interplanetary Internet. I remember this very well. I didn't speak to Vint. I was just sitting in the audience. This is back in September. I think September it was 1998. I had the chance to see Vint for the very first time in November 2019, which is just this past year. It was at the Peter Drucker forum in Vienna. And I just went to him and I told him, listen, I was sitting in that room back in 1998 when you said that machines are going to talk to each other and there will be an interplanetary Internet. The guy looked at me and said, I was a nutcase speaking blah, blah, blah. I said, I was didn't think that way, but I was thinking machines talk to each other, interplanetary internet. We're actually seeing part of this now. So nothing is becoming fiction anymore, and we're actually living it every step of the way. I want to close by saying that flexibility, choice, looking at things that are unconventional and untraditional will mark how we navigate those current moments, to be able to redesign how we operate, how we conduct work, how we deliver message for our students, how we can prepare them to compete in the marketplace. This is definitely, it's time for a very vibrant organizational culture that is adaptive, that looks at creating value both at the social level and at the economic level, but that is and creativity. My last comment is as follows. My prediction for the future: business schools and business organizations, societies, developed or developing, big or small, fast responding or not, rich or poor, this is not going to be the element that is going to make organizations or societies or individuals succeed or not. It remains to be about relevancy, agility, competitiveness, but I think the one factor that will mark those who can thrive in the future as opposed to the laggards who are sort of defaulting is the degree of adaptation. Keyword is how to adapt, continuously adapt to the changing environment. Let it be at work, let it be at home, let it be in a university, whatever that be. With the changes taking place, how can we adapt to that will be the game changer. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share with you these thoughts. And again, please stay safe and stay healthy. And we really look forward to seeing you all next year, hopefully in person. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing these ideas and insights with us, Sherif. And I recommend you to follow Sherif's blog. We will share with you the link, the Nile View, and he often shares very interesting articles on this blog.
Merci beaucoup, Cécile.
Now, dear participants, let's welcome our next keynote speaker. We have two keynote speakers. Dr. Konstantin Krotov, Head of Graduate School of Management from St. Petersburg University. And Mr. Ala Hashim, co-founder and executive partner of Transcendium. They will present us their point of view on skills of the future. Hard skills are soft and soft skills are hard. So Konstantin and Ala, it's a pleasure for us to hear you talk. Thank you.
Hello everyone, just trying to share the webcam. Can't do that. Oh, here am I. Hope it will share. Well, anyways, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And it's a real pleasure to be on this virtual stage. It's actually much more fun than just in Zoom or in Teams like we use in our school. Much less fun though than doing it in real life. Somewhere, let's say, in a beautiful campus of nowhere. Well, anyways, ideas could be shared on any platform, in any conditions, even in prison. So here some of my ideas that I want to share with you. I have less than 10 minutes, so I will share it without the presentation and just the core ones. Well, the first thing. Talks about the future skills are bundled with talks about future jobs and future education. And as we all know, there are a lot of forecast reports, papers on these topics. In these reports, we can read about fantastic jobs with sometimes very funny titles and see that these titles, these jobs require very particular skills. These discussions and these papers are very often followed up by recommendations how to change the education system. By the way, if you take these reports back from 2015 or even earlier, you will find that they predicted that in 2020 there will be already a number of new jobs with these new funny titles. We have to say that the other jobs are here, but not the predicted ones. And the COVID is not the reason. They're just not here. Maybe they will appear later, but it's not the point. The point is that it doesn't really matter what particular new jobs will appear. The point is that there are a lot of trends that forcing and will force our world to change and the jobs to change. There is one global trend, and it is the move from production economy towards knowledge economy. In knowledge economy, as we know, the knowledge is getting obsolete faster, and you have to learn more frequently compared to the previous stage, almost non-stop. Some people say there is, like a rocket model, when you load the rockets or the person with knowledge, and it goes as high as much you have a fuel, or as long as much you have fuel. And the knowledge economy model is when you constantly reload and refuel these rockets. In general, it makes sense, and well, it's getting more important to be flexible, able to learn, to create, and other things. For the education, it means that the schools, the universities spend more time developing skills, and at the same time, because you spend more time developing skills, your the knowledge criteria, the knowledge basis is getting lower. This leads to the first problem. Not knowing something but being flexible is very dangerous. If you do not have a good analytical skills and good knowledge basis, the information you consume could be fake, and we all know that. We all used to the situation when we say, let's check it on the internet. But what if internet is wrong? What if the first 10, 20, 30 pages in Google have mistakes? And I'm not talking about information that is faked on purpose, just mistakes. The privilege of not knowing something requires a solid knowledge basis and great analytical skills. So you can see where is fake and where is not, where is mistake and where is not. But in short run, it's not so obvious. So the manager with great presentation skills, with great creativity and leadership, could be very successful and very usable for the company. However, the real changes and real shifts will be possible if he or she has solid knowledge bases and great analytical skills. Coming back to the thesis that it could be not as obvious in the short run, we see that a lot of examples where managers become successful because of great soft skills. And students see it, and students will prefer soft skills, an easy way to success. Then the role of universities is to develop the solid knowledge basis and great analytical skills. And I believe that not all universities, not all the schools actually do that. Another issue, another problem is that some companies are already in knowledge economy and other companies are on their ways. Corporate world is really diverse. Definitely it correlates with the countries, and developed economies versus emerging economies are usually more skills oriented. What should business schools in emerging companies do? the case of our school shows that most of our corporate partners, most of future employers have good old requirements, but innovative companies, internationally focused companies often need something else, this skill set. So the challenge for us and for the companies, or for the schools, I'm sorry, in emerging countries, is what we should do to focus on opportunities and be a leader. Majority will not need your students then, or prepare students for current economies, but that would somehow limit your leadership positions or your foresight positions. These both problems lead to the question of the purpose of business schools in different countries and economies, and the answer for each business schools is individual, not obvious, and difficult. Thank you and stay healthy. On this part, I want to give the floor to my colleague from business who will now share the points of business. Thank you.
Thank you, Konstantin. And welcome on the floor, Ala. The floor is yours.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Super. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I hope everybody from all around the world is keeping well and safe. So very quickly, I think, to provide a bit of a perspective from a practitioner's perspective, I am so thrilled with the topic of this session because this idea about soft skills, understanding soft skills and the importance of soft skills is, I think, grossly underestimated. And I have a bit of perspective to shed on that. So I think in a world that is like many of us would use the term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. I like to add to it an E at the beginning, which is exponential. So it's not only volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, it's also exponentially volatile, exponentially uncertain, exponentially complex. So the rate of change obviously is unprecedented, and we see it in all facets of life. And I think in order to be able to adapt to this new rate of change, which is beyond anything that we as a race have experienced, for all the logical reasons, I think we need to change our mindsets. And a huge part of changing the mindsets is we need to understand that we need to be able to shape mindsets that are capable of coping with this rate of change, not trying to catch up, but actually to embrace it and to actually be able to be on top of it. And in our businesses, we like to use the term informed agility. So this idea about being agile, but also being informed. So it is a combination of developing systems that are capable of making us sense what's going on around us, whether it's in the markets, within our organizations, and so on and so forth, but also to be able to respond rapidly to what we sense. So we need to be able to process, again, the data, the sensing that we get, and we need to be able to interpret and act rapidly to be able to do that. So that is at the heart of the wiring of the businesses that we manage. And in order to be able to do that, if I connect this with the skills, I think, so we have, I think, different types of skills. So we have, I think, manual labor skills that I think we have seen have taken different shapes and forms over the years. So at the pre-industrial revolution, again, you had people, again, in guilds, they used to do things manually. Again, they became machine operators. So again, aided by machines, they were doing a different type of job. But again, there was an evolution in the nature of how this job is done. I think a lot of this now is going to be migrating in the future. So basic physical and manual skills, I think, will be migrating to different types of skills, which is technological skills. Having said this, I think we have two sets of cognitive skills. These, I think, need to go from one level to a basic cognitive skills that I think need to be much more advanced. If we crystallize this, I think at the end, we are looking at two massive sets of skills, which are critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And on the other hand, social and emotional skills. These, I think, are at the heart of enabling us to be able to create these environments where we are informed and we are agile. And again, to crystallize this further, what we preach today is really the essence of what leadership should look like in the coming period. And it is leadership that creates safe environments, that is able to engage people, because again, if we want speed, we need to have people that are super engaged, people that are safe in order to be able to express themselves in the environments where they work. Any organization that's laden with politics becomes a lot slower. So I think we are at an age, in order to be able to cope with the rate of change, we need to be fast. In order to be fast, we need to be engaged and we need to be safe in our environment. And that is the primary role of the leadership in terms of culture building. The second bit is critical thinking, problem solving, again, using data to solve problems, understand gaps in results, understand gaps in process, and be able to have thoughtful conversations about how systematically to be able to address this. So I think these are the two big sets of skills that we believe are at the heart of what we need to be able to create competitive organizations for the next decade or two. So I'll leave off at this point, and I hope this was insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now it's time for questions. Oh, if you have a question, you can write it on the public chat. Questions? Constantine or Ala, do you want to add something? Okay, so it's now time. We have some minutes to have peer-to-peer meetings. So you can stay here, or you can go to the networking hall, and let's come back here in approximately 10 minutes for the next presentation. Few minutes. I remember you that to go to the peer-to-peer meetings place or the networking hall, use the go to and the menu and click on the place you want to be.
Step up in the club, come on, let's go. Cause I want you to